Hello guys. In order for us to start with Laravel, I want to get into Composer. This is something that is very necessary to get a grasp of what it's about and how to use it before we can start getting into Laravel. What Composer is a dependency manager for PHP packages. And what it does is it has a whole collection of all of these PHP packages that you can download and tie together that your project may depend on. And this is just a way of not having to reinvent the wheel of things that have already been developed. You don't want to have to redevelop validation or PHP unit or any other type of big package that may take you way more time to develop something if it's already out there in the world to use. But first I'm going to show you packages.org has these packages in there, and it shows you everything you can download from Composer. So let me show you a few examples. We can have PHP unit. So the setup, if you notice, is a name slash and then another name, and this is vendor and this is the package. So that's the PHP unit. Even notice that Laravel is on here. We got Laravel. We can have validators. Let's see, Symfony validator right here. You can see how many times it's been downloaded, everything about these packages. So let's go back to Composer and download it. I already have it on my machine, but I'll just go through the steps again. I'm going to go to Getting Started, and I'm going to scroll down. You can read all of this, and I suggest that you do. And I also suggest that you have curl on your system. Let's go down to here where we want to download it globally to your system. Copy that, and let's run it in our terminal. And it says that I already have. But if you haven't, what's going to happen is you're going to get this composer.far file under users, whatever your name is. And notice I'm using a Unix machine, which is Mac OS X in my case, but any Linux machine is going to be the same. And for Windows, it has its own installation guide, and I suggest you read through it. It won't be too much different. But if you're wondering, PHAR just means PHP archive file. So now that we have that, we want to make this global. So let's go back here, and we want to move composer.far to user local bin composer. And what this will do is allow us to call Composer by just writing composer instead of having to write PHP space composer.far. So that saves a lot of typing. When I did it originally, I could not get this to work. And the reason being is I'm still not completely sure, but I had to take out a local and I just put it in user bin composer. So if you come across that issue, just put it in your user bin composer file. Alright? And then from that point on, you can write composer. And to know that you successfully have it, write composer and you will get this. It will say composer. And it looks a little funny because I've set the spacing in between each line, but this makes a cool little composer symbol, and then it tells you everything you can do with it. You can create a project, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go to a new file, and I created a new directory where I'm going to download Laravel using Composer. Alright, so now that we have that, the syntax for this is going to be composer create project. Then we're going to call the package name that we're trying to download. So we're going to say laravel / laravel, and I'm going to call it our first Laravel project. And we're going to run that. It may take a second to download everything we need. Alright, so I paused the video because it took probably about 30 seconds for me to download everything. It downloaded all the files I needed, and then right here, for example, it says installing PHP unit PHP code coverage, and these are just the vendors and the packages from Composer that it's pulling. So it's using all of these dependencies for Laravel to work. So let's go back down here, and now let's clear that out. If we want to look and make sure that we have Laravel 5.1, let's see what files we have. Well, we have our first Laravel project, so let's cd into that, and let's take a look at what's inside. So we have all of the files that we need. And in a later tutorial, I'm going to go into what all of these files and folders mean. It's quite overwhelming because of the amount of things that we have. But let's open this in Sublime Text so you can see a little bit better. So here's our first Laravel project. We have an app folder, bootstrap, config, database, public, resources, and so on. We have everything we need to start our file. But the way that I downloaded Laravel into my regular htdocs folder using Apache, it's not necessarily going to work for everything that we need because Laravel needs an mcrypt extension. And we're going to download Laravel Homestead in the next tutorial, and that's what I suggest that you use. This is just an introductory lesson that is, if you don't feel like downloading Laravel Homestead, this is another option you can use, but some of the functionality may not be available for you. But let's just see that we got the Laravel 5 homepage. And the way we're going to do that, go over to Chrome, and we're going to go to our index, go in here, and we need to go to our public folder. And there we go. We have Laravel running on our machine. And notice how deep into this folder structure we had to go to be able to even get to the home page. And that's another reason Laravel Homestead is going to be perfect for us, is because you can set your own URL, such as laravel.dev. So Laravel Homestead is going to make this URL up here a lot easier to look at. And let's go back into our folder real quick, and I'm going to show you our composer.json. And this is where it requires PHP, it requires our Laravel framework. So this is our composer.json, which deals with all of our dependencies. Now we know that Laravel 5 is functioning on our local host. So join me in the next tutorial where we will go over Homestead, and you can bypass that tutorial if you want because it can get quite tricky trying to get it to work. It may not work your first go around. It took me quite a few tries to fully understand how it works. But we will go over that, and hopefully that's the route you choose. That's what I use now, and I do not even think about opening up MAMP anymore unless it's something easy, such as just creating a simple single-page application or testing out Angular or any other type of things I just want to test out. But when I actually want to make a real project, I always go with Laravel Homestead.